Good morning. For those who don't know me, my name is Stephanie Fowler, and I'm the current chair of Lewis & Clark's Board of Trustees. It gives me great pleasure today to announce that after a rigorous 6-month national search that began with a field of more than 100 candidates, the board has chosen one of our own, Robin Holmes-Sullivan, to be the 26th president of Lewis & Clark College. I'd pause for applause right now if I thought I could hear any of you, but I can imagine there are a lot of smiles and happy faces out there. I know how strongly the campus supports Robin as our Vice President of Student Life and Dean of Students for the last 2.5 years. She is somebody we know well and respect thoroughly. Most of you know this already, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Robin's appointment is historic for us. She will be the first woman and the first person of color to preside over the college in its 155-year history. It shouldn't come as a surprise to those that know her that Robin rose immediately to the top of an impressive field of candidates. Through her management of campus crises, large and small, Robin has proven herself to be a natural leader who knows how to bring people together to get things done, even under the most challenging circumstances. She cares deeply about our students. She has profound respect for our faculty and the primary role they play in making Lewis & Clark the special place that it is. She admires the dedication and hard work of the staff who make it all possible. And while Robin will be a new leader for a new time, she understands our culture and has a deep appreciation for the learning traditions that have made Lewis & Clark the outstanding liberal arts college that it is today. Robin's career in higher ed spans 3 decades and is buttressed by 4 degrees, including 2 masters and, of course, a PhD. She began as a clinical psychologist at the Counseling Center at the University of Oregon, where she ultimately rose to the position of Vice President of Student Life. She held that position for 9 years before moving on to the University of California system to become the Vice President for Student Affairs there, with responsibility for 10 separate campuses and 200,000 students. Fortunately for us, that turned out to be about 196,000 students too many. Robin missed having direct contact with students, and her family missed Oregon. So the Cal system's loss became Lewis & Clark's gain. Within months of Robin's arrival on campus, the coronavirus arrived too. With a lot of cooperation from the college community, Robin was responsible for safely and successfully steering the college through that treacherous first year of COVID, while still developing improvements to the student life experience designed ultimately to enhance student retention and their academic success long into the future. And though Robin ascends to the presidency from the administrative track rather than the more traditional academic track, I think it's important to note that she enjoys significant support from the faculties of all 3 schools and was the favored candidate of all 3 academic deans, as well as our current president, Vim Vivo. Vim won't be retiring for another 6 months, and it's not time yet for goodbyes, but I do want to take a moment to thank him for his solid leadership of the college and his good judgment in hiring not just Robin, but assembling a stellar administrative team that is well positioned to build on the programs and strategies initiated under Vim's leadership. Robin is an integral part of that team. The members know each other, respect each other, and work well together. They and Vim, along with faculty and staff, have more than met the challenges of the last few years and have amazingly moved Lewis & Clark into a stronger position now than we were in prior to COVID. Not a lot of our peers can say that. Enrollments are up, applications are up, academic offerings are expanding, and our current comprehensive campaign is now within sight of its goal. Yes, we still face challenges, as does all of higher ed, but we are absolutely on the right path, and the board is confident that Robin will sustain and even accelerate our forward momentum with her vision, her pragmatic wisdom, and her deep commitment to the success of our students and to the college itself. One last thank you before I turn the Zoom screen over to Robin. The board is deeply grateful to the members of the search committee who devoted countless hours to the process over the last 6 months, particularly our trustee co-chairs, Paula Hayes and Pat Mahaffey. And thank you to all of you, faculty, staff, students, and alumni who took the time to participate in the various campus forums. Your engagement and feedback are greatly appreciated by the search committee and the board. And now, without further ado, I present to you the 26th president of Lewis and Clark College, Robin Holmes-Sullivan.
Good morning to all of you who have been able to join us today. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to be selected to lead Lewis and Clark as its 26th president. First and foremost, I want to thank Chair Fowler and the Board of Trustees for entrusting me with this responsibility and for their ongoing support. The presidency is a heavy responsibility and one that I wholeheartedly and enthusiastically accept. I also want to thank the Presidential Search Committee, co-chaired by Trustees Paula Hayes and Pat Mahaffey. It was an extensive and thorough search process, and I, for one, am thrilled with how it turned out. I also want to recognize mentors and peers who have supported me, not least of which is our current president, Vim Vival. Vim is an incredible example, to me, of the difference that a thoughtful, engaged, and dynamic leader can make for an institution. Thanks as well to the incredibly hardworking staff in student life, and particularly my student life leadership team, who have all been gracious and supportive to me throughout this process. And finally, I wish to thank my family, my parents, my siblings, and of course, my incredible wife, Kathy, our 2 sons, and our daughter-in-law, who always lift me up and show me every day that it is important to love and to be loved. I would not be here without the help, guidance, and love of each and every one of you. My dedication to higher education goes back at least 30 years. I love the mission and values of higher education and its commitment to making learning and social mobility available to as many people as possible. In my own family, it was a foregone conclusion that we would attend college. Although neither of my parents were college educated, their experiences growing up in Mississippi in the segregated South made them keenly aware of the importance of instilling in their 5 children the kind of values and work ethic that would lead us to a better future. I watched as my parents worked hard and with a singular focus, and how their work ethic and dedication resulted in us eventually living in a comfortable middle-class lifestyle that afforded us many privileges and blessings. I also watched how both of them led. My dad as a Marine and my mom in healthcare, both eventually becoming managers in their careers. They were so respected by those they interacted with because of that work ethic, because they would never ask their staff to do something they wouldn't be willing to do themselves, because of their honesty and integrity, and most importantly, because of the love and support they showed to those they led. Those values have been instilled in me, and those values will continue to be my North Star as your president. I've always been keenly interested in making a difference and leading change. To do so, I learned early on, you must have a vision and a compelling story to tell. Even as a young child, I was able to organize and inspire people to try new things, to work towards goals, or to make a change. I learned that people would listen to me if I had something worthy to say. I also learned that some individuals had more of a voice than others. There were many times when what I said was not heard, when I felt that I was being discouraged or minimized, when I was not taken seriously. It is always hard to know why, but I couldn't help but think at times that it was because of the color of my skin or my gender. My response was to stiffen my spine, thicken my skin, and work harder and better than everyone around me. Doing so brought me success and often respect from others. It also showed me that my mom was right when she said to me, "Robin, you are capable of doing anything you put your mind to." I believed my mom, and I reveled in being believed in by her. Because of these personal experiences, I know the importance and symbolism of my becoming the president of Lewis and Clark. To those that society sees as different or lesser, it is an example of the importance of believing in yourself and reaching for your dreams. I also know the importance of having a diversity of voices at the table in order to influence and build a sense of inclusion, community, and excellence. I'm so proud that my becoming president of LC can influence and inspire a generation of young people to see that indeed they can dream big, that when they speak, people will listen, and when they lead, people will follow. The future of LC is bright. We are blessed with amazingly talented, accomplished, and caring faculty and staff. Our students are brilliant, curious, and creative, and have all the potential in the world to become tomorrow's leaders. We have tremendously supportive trustees, alumni, and donors who I know will continue to support us in the days and years ahead. In fact, through hard work, vision, and determination, we are on track to complete our first comprehensive philanthropic campaign in 2 decades, an accomplishment that will set the floor, not the ceiling, for us moving forward. So what do I see in Lewis and Clark's future? I see a college whose faculty and staff have the resources and opportunities to innovate, improve, and expand our already excellent academic offerings and student experience. I see 3 distinct schools that have differentiated themselves in the marketplace and that are known as places where innovation thrives, where accomplishments and social change is possible, and where academic excellence is the norm. I see a college that is better known than it is today for sharing its gifts and knowledge with the city of Portland, the state, and the country. A college that is routinely viewed as the home of cutting-edge changemakers. A college that better shares the story of who we are, what we're about, and what makes us unique. I see a Lewis and Clark that enjoys an even stronger sense of community, and that sends a clear message in our words and actions that we are purposefully committed to equity and inclusion for all. I see a college that is known as an institution that not only supports exploring for the global good, but also changing the world for good. A college that never forgets its history, that is always learning from the past, and that is moving forward purposefully and with integrity into the future. It is no secret how divided our country has become. So divided that our very democracy is threatened. Here at Lewis and Clark, we have an opportunity to model a different approach, to demonstrate how to have difficult, substantive conversations about topics that divide us, and to do so in a way that doesn't pull anybody down, but lifts everybody up. To do so in a way that fosters understanding, respect, and growth. We may not always agree, but we must stay committed to one another and to this place. That is the best of the liberal arts tradition, and it is at our core as an institution. We must preserve it at all costs. There is much to do, and I'm eager to get started working side by side with all of you. Again, I want to thank all of you for your support and your trust in me. I'm honored, humbled, and so grateful for this opportunity. I plan to take full advantage of this gracious transition period while Vim is still solidly at the helm, so I can hit the ground running come July 1. Working together, we will accomplish much. And working together, we will ensure that Lewis and Clark continues to do what we do best, prepare students to be leaders and change makers for the world of tomorrow. Thank you.